exercise, man, that just seemed like you got the weight of the world on your shoulders right now.
I do. There are a lot of times, especially at Christmas, because that was one of my busiest times of year. So I'm in there dealing with customers, which I love my job. And I try to put my bullshit at the door. Everybody's got baggage. So I'll leave my baggage at the door. And that's not your problem when you're looking for a lipstick. Okay. Or you need a present for your wife. That's not your problem. So I put on my happy face and I do what I did. And meanwhile, while I'm doing my job to the best of my ability with the public.
I don't have no wife,
Well, a girlfriend, whatever. A girlfriend.
I ain't got
or friend.
Podcast will start in 3.
Run it up. We're chasing all the lights all day, every night. Hustle till we get it right. Aiming for the moon, shoot the stars right by. Don't sleep, don't sign, gotta reach for the sky. Run it up. We're chasing all the lights all day, every night. Hustle till we get it right. Aiming for the moon, shoot the stars right by. Don't sleep, don't sign, gotta reach for the sky. Run it up.
Yes, welcome to the Grind It Up podcast. I have Otis with us again, and then we have the lovely, this is the first time her being on the show, Leslie Hestwood.
Hi.
And what she's bringing is some views on things that haven't been given the light of day for a long time, revolving around the special needs education system. And we're going to get into that in a second, but I was told that we have something in common, so enlighten me.
So we did, well, first I'm from Texas. And so
Awesome.
Second Amendment is a big deal for us.
Perfect.
And of course, like guns and ammo. I mean, guns and ammo. Like,
Yeah.
we don't have the crime y'all do because people are taking it into their own hands.
Exactly.
But I used to work for this phenomenal gun company. It's called Superior Outfitters.
Okay.
And they sell to all over the United States. Young entrepreneurs. And he's got some other things going on. But if you're ever looking for firearms and stuff, that's the one. And ammo, because ammo is hard to find.
Yeah.
But I was VP because when they called me in for an interview, and I was like looking around, and I was like, I don't think y'all looked at my resume. And they were like, yeah. And I was like, no. I was like, I'm a Texan, and I like guns, and I'm for them. I was like, but I don't know anything about this. And they go, no, we need you for customer service. I was like, oh, okay. Now that's my line. Yeah. But anyway, the best guys.
Yeah.
Full-blown American, conservative, family, God, country, and Second Amendment. So
And they're still in the business, right?
Yes, sir.
Oh,
yeah,
I
Superior
might be
Outfitters.
seeing them in Vegas then, because every
sure you
year
have.
we go to SHOT Show, and if they're in the business, they go to SHOT Show.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
So
Superior
we got to
Outfitters.
hook up about that, because
Yeah, you got to look them
They're
up.
probably gonna
Austin Rohr and Lanston that run that company. Austin's the president and CEO,
Okay.
but he's phenomenal.
Superior Outfitters, right?
Superior Outfitters out of Longview, which they have 3 locations now. They started out of Longview, Texas, where Matthew McConaughey's from.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody ever knows that. And they're all like, Longview.
Yeah.
And then they opened one up in Tyler,
Okay.
where Mahomes is from. And then they just opened one up in Terrell, Texas,
Okay.
which is right next to the First Buc-ee's, if you are a Buc-ee's
Oh,
fan.
damn.
Yeah. So it's right next there. But they have a huge selection online, the whole bit. Yeah, so check them out.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, we got
Love
to definitely
it.
link up, because I'll be in Vegas shooting all the new guns before they come out. So
Okay.
So
I'm sure I'll bump
the
with
way we arrived at that, you weren't in the room. You changed the screen. You had Guns and Ranges up there. And she said, what's Guns and Ranges?
yeah.
And I saw the
And I-
Texas up there.
And I gave the most horrible explanation ever. So I said, you know what? Mark can tell you about it. She told us what she did. I was like, oh, shit. You all going to surprise you.
Yeah, so tell me.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to tell me.
Yeah, so Guns and Ranges, I started where I noticed there was a lack in social media and online presence of giving the spotlight to ranges. I'm an avid shooter. I love traveling, and I want to know if this range is worth my time. So I took it upon myself to go to ranges, treat it like a TV show. I've been in video production for over 20 years. So it's like I have the equipment, I have all the experience. Let's just go and treat it like a real TV show, but not scripted, and just highlight the coolest stuff you can rent at ranges. And I started doing that. Ironically, on my journey, within the first year, I found out I had stage 4 cancer.
Oh.
So I continued, but the episode Space got wider because I was filming episodes in between treatment, chemo. I even
That's
had an episode where I was in Vegas and my chemo port, it was fresh, the wound was. But it's on this side because I like shooting guns. They usually put it on this side. I was like, you put it on this side. So there's an episode where I'm at Machine Gun Vegas, and that whole episode, I got fresh glue where the wound is. It was a week. It's been a week after the surgery, and I'm in Vegas, and I'm shooting all the guns. There's only one gun I didn't shoot, which was a shotgun that's full auto.
Oh, yeah.
Mainly because it was full auto, but everything else, I shot the saw, M249, all that cool stuff. I didn't die, so that's all that matters.
That's an amazing
So-
story. Are you in remission? Then I'm going to.
No, not in remission, but I am continuing. Like, we just filmed another episode. It's harder to film now because I just had surgery to remove one of my tumors. I have 6 tumors on my liver, but I have 1 tumor in my colon area, rectal.
Oh,
And so that was removed. That was the source. So they removed that. So now we have 6 big tumors on my liver, and it's all over it. And now I'm fighting that. But that's not going to stop me from living my life
amen.
and putting a smile on other people's faces. That's why we came up with the Maurer Foundation. I thought I had my hoodie on earlier, and it was right there. But today I got this.
Yeah.
So yeah, and that's the purpose of the Maurer Foundation is we're going to go to every cancer place out there, and we're going to donate money, real money, not we take a percentage. It's 100%. Most
I love
people
that.
donate 80 because they have operational obligations. With us, hey, it's all about volunteering. If you're here for the cause, let's go. We're trying to put smiles on people's faces because I see it. I'm sitting in the chair. Everybody's defeated. I got this pump in me, getting hit with chemo. I feel sad, but there's only one thing you can do about it. You got to change the way you look at things.
That's right. It's all about attitude,
Yes.
perspective. It doesn't matter what it is, but especially,
You gotta-
you don't need to pick out your coffin yet.
Yeah, you got to
Yeah.
make that handicap an asset to help
right.
other people. And that is what's going to get me cured with cancer. I'm being in remission for sure.
I love that.
So,
Oh, well,
but enough about
not
me.
to sound hokey, but like I'll pray for you because
Thank you,
I
I
mean
appreciate
that I have a lot of one of my aunts. She's in Oklahoma City. She has been in remission a long time, but double mastectomy,
Bless her heart. That's
stage
awesome.
4. Was Susan B. Komen spokesman
Nice.
a couple of years ago out of Oklahoma City, and that is a tough journey. And I watched her, and now as an adult, because I was just a kid back then. But watching her, it was all about her attitude, her relationship with God.
Yeah.
And even to this day, she doesn't ask, why did that happen to me?
Mhm.
She looked at how can I make a difference? And it brought her closer to God. She already had a wonderful relationship with God, but it brought her closer to God. And her whole perspective. I mean, she's 86, I think. She can
Wow.
outrun all of us. Oh, yeah.
That's
100%. She's
amazing.
a miracle. But again, it goes back to that attitude. And that's huge because there's a lot of people that just give up.
Yeah, I see it. And I'm like, what can I do? I hate to say money would be the thing to make them smile, but sometimes at that point, it's like, look, here, and I'm writing checks to these people and I'm advising them. They do what they want with the money. Don't spend it on medical bills. Do something for yourself. Fuck the
Send that
medical
to
bills.
the government in care of.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah, because they're not sharing that. That's a whole other
Yeah.
conspiracy story.
Right. They ain't sure
Okay.
getting their money.
Get in that later. Okay. Yeah.
So let's jump on the reason why you're here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. So give me a little bit about your background and what we got going on that is agitating you and you see this and there's something needs to be, we got to shed light on this topic. So enlighten me on what you're talking about here.
So I guess we'll see. So again, born and raised in Texas. I have 3 daughters. I have one that she's 28, will be 29 in May. And then I wasn't supposed to have any more children. I had a ton of female problems, miscarriages. And then just as I gave up, then God's got a sense of humor and gave me 2 more. So I had a 13-year-old daughter, and then I had one in 2010, and she's 15 now. And then 3 years later, I had my youngest who has Down syndrome.
Okay.
So my 15-year-old, my oldest doesn't have any issues. She's got bad attitude, but she don't have any issues.
She get it from her mama?
No, I have a sugar bear attitude. I'm a sugar bear. You get that, don't you?
I get it.
she's still in Austin. And then my middle one, can I say her name on here? Or am I not supposed to? Okay. Well, my Maggie Shea. So I have all M's, but my Maggie Shea, terrible oh my God, terrible pregnancy. And I say that every pregnancy dictates the child.
Mhm.
That one has been trouble since the womb. Placenta previa. She was a month early. I kept telling that doctor, I was like, she wants out. And he's like, oh, you got one more month. Well, guess who came early? And had trouble breathing, laboring to breathe. We spent a month in the NICU. We would been there 2 weeks, and they were like, oh, well, you're good. She can go home. And then she started doing bradycardias and coding, and all the bells and whistles were going off. Well, and come to find out she had reflux, which happens a lot with preemies because that little top of your esophagus hasn't developed. So they don't know how to eat and breathe at the same time. So 2 more weeks in the NICU, so total month. Came home on a heart monitor. We were on that for 6 months. And anyway, she became very healthy and all the things. She was little, but she became really healthy. And then, like I said, 3 years later, I had her younger sister, McCall, who has Down syndrome. So I thought I only had one that had special education and special needs. But then as time has gone on with Maggie, you would think the one that has Down syndrome would be the toughest one. And she's the gift from God. I call her my sunshine. She didn't have anything but an extra chromosome of fabulous. There ain't nothing wrong with her. She's the
Okay.
sweetest child.
Wow.
She doesn't have traditional issues like a Down syndrome does. No thyroid, no walking, talking, eating, swallowing. Eyes. I mean, she has glasses, but her vision's getting better. Easiest kid and the best disposition, just sugar bear, sunshine. Well, then as time has progressed, Maggie Shea is the one that I've had issues with. She's probably about 4 or 5, and they were like, oh, she's ADHD. And, or they dance around it in the school system because they can't legally come out and say, hey, she's ADHD, go throw her on some meds. So they dance around it. She's, what's one of the words they use? Impulsive. Anyway, so I go to my doctor. Years go by. We try every ADHD medicine. Nothing works. Then I take her for all these educational evaluations, psychological, mental, all the things outside of the school because I don't trust the school system. No offense, because I love my teachers, but I wanted second and third opinions.
Makes sense.
So then I had one lady that I spent, and they're $2,500. Like if you do an educational evaluation, that's $2,500 right there. And they're the alpha and the omega, and they think that, their opinion. Yes, sir. There is no insurance. No, insurance don't cover that. That's out of pocket. Cut a check.
Dang.
So I went to one lady, and again, this is all in Dallas, Fort Worth, and in Texas. I went to one lady the school is called, God, what's the name of that school? So dyslexia years ago, June Shelton. June Shelton is the one that discovered that kids, when they were younger, like my age, that dyslexia was a thing. Well, then she came up with every program in the country for people that suffer from dyslexia and how to teach them. Then she started this school that looks like Harvard. So she was one of the top educational specialists. I took her in there, and this lady literally looked at 2 pieces of paper, spent 15 minutes with Maggie Shea, and it's like, she has a low IQ. She's mentally retarded. This is what normal IQ is, and this is where Maggie's at. And I'm like, you spent 15 minutes with Maggie. You didn't run a test.
Right.
You didn't do any of that. And she's mentally retarded. There you go. Thanks for coming. And so I told her one day when I figure out what is wrong with Maggie Shea, I'll be back for you, and I will be back for her.
Was that the evaluation you paid the $2,500
Yes, sir.
for? I would have got a refund.
In and out,
Yeah.
in and out. And
Run me-
she
run
gave
my
me
money back.
this
Yeah.
huge, ginormous report and was like, I know this is hard. I'm like, you don't know nothing about my life. I've got 3 daughters, one with Down syndrome. This ain't my first rodeo.
Yeah.
So I was angry about that one. But anyway, I've gone to, psychiatrists and psychologists and every medical, genetic testing, everything. Well, then in 2022, we finally discovered that Maggie Shea has epilepsy. So she has what's called absence seizures. So you can't see her seizures unless she's hooked up to an EKG. And they're called petit mal seizures. So grand mal seizures are the ones where you see people and you can actually see them seizing. So I go to Cooks in Fort Worth, and the doctor there said I would be willing to bet that 99% of Maggie Shea's issues stem from this epilepsy. So, medication, whatever. And that, like I said, from the time I did that first evaluation at like 4 or 5 years old up until 2022, I had run every test imaginable. Every test.
Wow.
People tell me she had low IQ, and I'm like, this child can pick a doorknob with a corn on the cob holder. She's not mentally retarded.
Yeah.
Okay? Like, who does that?
Right.
And I hate to say this word, but it is the word, she's highly manipulative. She can read a room. I'm like, she may not can read text. She may not can read and write, but she can read a room. And she can read you that fast.
Yeah.
That's not mentally retarded.
Right.
No.
And I've said for years, I'm like, I could drop Maggie Shea off in Iraq or Iran and she make it out just fine. Just fine. With bodies maybe behind her.
Yeah.
So that's not somebody that's mentally retarded.
No doubt.
You have to be savvy to do that. So while your traditional education, no, she may not be able to read and write, but she can work a room. That takes some brains because as a parent, I've had to keep up with this child always. I've tried every medication. God knows what that's done to her little brain. Because have you ever been on any of those SSRIs or any of that? It takes 6 weeks. You don't know what the side effects are going to be. And they change them like we change a shirt. Oh, that's how we're going. Okay, we'll take her off that.
They're just throwing stuff on the wall.
Yeah, they're just throwing stuff. They're just guessing it. And the good doctors will say, we're taking an educated guess, and it's trial and error. The other ones act like they know all, and that's final.
Yeah.
I've gone to bat. So she'd been in special education because they didn't know how to figure her out, and they just kind of written her off as that she's mentally retarded and she's low IQ, and there you go.
Right.
And I had phenomenal teachers, but even in Texas, the special education system, you've got in one room, you've got children that have autism. Well, there's levels and hierarchy of autism. You've got kids that have Down syndrome. There's a level, there's a hierarchy, there's a, so you've got all these children with all these special needs and they're thrown into one room. Now, how can I teach Maggie Shea when I got Autism A over here banging his head up against the wall or screaming or throwing a chair?
Yeah, that doesn't it's not efficient right there.
No, it's not efficient. It doesn't make any sense.
They're really not, I mean, whatever they're charging, I'm sure is
So
crazy.
in special education, that's federally funded.
Okay.
But that's what I was talking about. 1976 was the, I think it's 76 or 77. I'd have to look that up. But that's when they came out with the Federal Disability Act.
Okay.
So there is money that is put into that, but they treat those children, that's federally funded in every public school system, and they treat those children like it's redheaded stepchildren.
Yeah.
They don't lay out all your, what you can do, what your options are. They don't lay out any of that. So it is like, as we say in Texas, it's like finding a needle in a haystack.
Mm-hmm.
I have searched, and I cannot tell you the life I have lost looking, searching, going down dead-end avenues because they don't lay it out and go, oh, okay, this is what you need to do. These are your rights. This is what you can choose from. No, they just kind of stand there. And as someone told me, they're very, they're not forthcoming, just like anything federal.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yes, sir. Jump in.
Question. It's kind of drawn out. Be patient with me. So what would you like for like our president of the United States, the House of Representatives, the Senate, the Supreme Court, the governors, mayors, the parents, the school districts, the fathers, the take from your story?
The first thing I would say is that our government, whether it's Supreme Court, Congress, federal, whatever, and our president, they talk a lot about mental health, but there's nothing being done.
Right.
And mental health and special education, they go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Because they give medication for anxiety, depression, anger, ADHD that also coincides with helping you curve epilepsy and things like that. They coincide. And a lot of these children that have special education needs, They're all on those same medications. So I would say, first of all, if you're going to reform it and don't BS about it. And it needs to be gutted from the ground up, like a lot of other things, but gutted from the ground up. Because we'll just take Maggie, for instance. Maggie has been to every psychologist, psychiatrist, play therapy, regular therapy, tried every medication, and she's livid. And, while you can't act like that at the same time, I can imagine she is livid and she is angry because no one understands her. And she doesn't know how to read and write and all that. And you're in a classroom where I'm not at that level of that autistic child, but at the same time, I know I could do this possibly, and I'm just thrown in there together. So I'd say reform first and foremost. Second, it needs to be done by teachers, special education teachers, special education paras, people that have or parents that have actually been in the trenches. Because if you think you've had to fight for a regular child, try doing it with a special education. Yeah. So just with Maggie on the mental health side, she has been hospitalized now, behavioral clinics 3 times, inpatient, almost 2 weeks each time. Well, we'll try medication and da-da-da-da-da. And she's not angry here. Well, she's not angry there because you're not making her do anything. You're not making her brush her teeth or take a bath or responsibilities or put up her laundry or tell her you can't lie or it's time to do this. Well, of course you're not having a problem out of her. So then we're going to release her back into the wild. If you have another problem, just bring her on back, which means going back to the hospital or calling the cops 5 times like I've had to because she's swinging on me and throwing hands and is 15 years old. She's as big as I am. And then as a parent, what do you do? Am I supposed to duke it out with her? Am I supposed to restrain her? Well, then, she's gone to school and said, oh, Mom, she didn't want to live with me. And she wanted to live with her dad. Well, so she told them I beat her in the head with a wooden spoon, which also coincided about the same time I was saying, no, I don't like that idea on special education. So I got called to CPS 3 times.
Wow.
So to shut you up like they do in every other avenue of the government, you push, we're going to push back harder. We're going to hurt your feelings. We're going to do your reputation. So I'd say, first and foremost, that's cute that we passed it in 1976. No one's done an update.
You know why? I think the reason why they haven't done an update was because they got their hands in that pot, that money pot.
Oh.
And
everybody telling where that money's at.
Yeah, everybody who makes a decision on that money pot is involved, so therefore they won't do anything. I think one thing that would help society is if we had board of advisors for everything. Because think about it, we got people passing gun laws that don't even know the difference between a paintball gun and a real gun.
Right.
Exactly.
We need board of advisors.
You have bureaucrats in there. You don't actually have people that know.
Exactly. We would have better laws. Everything would work better if we had board of advisors that say, hey, look, no, you can't do that. Versus, oh, yeah, ban all guns because criminals follow the law.
Correct. Same thing with these special needs parents. You've got people that come in here and that are making all these laws because of something you read in a book. You don't have a special education child. You don't know.
Yeah.
You've never been in a classroom with a special education child and all the different hierarchies.
Yeah.
And the mental health she was in a behavioral clinic for 2 weeks right before Christmas. And I'm like, you're going to cut her loose? Well, we don't want her not to be at home for Christmas. I said, well, that's why she's acting right. And sure enough, Christmas Day, I had to wrestle her to the ground and restrain her because she didn't want to take her medicine.
Wow.
And to piggyback off of what you said about calling the authorities, I used to be a correction officer, and I used to see a lot of individuals that came to jail that had some type of mental or intellectual disability, and they get it the worst. It is horrible how they treat someone with an intellectual disability or a mental illness in jail. What they do is they for one, they segregate them into a 1-man cell. Now, a 1-man cell is supposed to be for one of 2 things. They have one for punishment and they have one for like segregation.
For safety.
For their own safety.
For their own safety, but all it does is make it worse.
But when those are filled, when those they're not available, and we have the ones that's set aside for like more like punishment, those cells are smaller, more confined.
Mm-hmm.
They're claustrophobic.
Sure.
So can you imagine what that can do somebody that has some type of intellectual disability and they're trapped in a room No, oh,
This size?
yeah.
I mean, they put
No,
up
not
5 or 6
no,
a
not
Macy's.
this size, but it's very
Size of a
small.
closet.
Yeah, size of a closet. Like you can reach out and that's your room, you know?
Mhm.
So putting somebody with an intellectual disability in a room like that, it can drive them to suicide.
Mhm.
Sure.
It does. I mean, I've
Well, and it
seen
makes them angry. Like in her
yes.
case, it makes her angry.
Mhm.
I've said for years since she's little, I'm like, you have to run her like a 6-month lab. She needs to be outside and you need to run her. Well, because of the medication, she's exhausted.
Mhm.
Right.
And then because she's 15 and a bad attitude and hormones, she's exactly
bad.
up and down,
Yeah.
up and down, up and down. And so one minute she's like, Mom, I love you. And then the next minute she's throwing hands and I hate you and cussing me out. Yes, sir.
That's what I want before we even get back to what we or she feels should be done systematic wise. I wanted to ask you how challenging is it to convey to her? I know you can't say I understand what you're going through because you don't know. None of us know
Right.
what
It's
it's like to be
empathy,
her.
empathize.
But how to convey, even when she's trying to fight you, I love you. Even you know how I'm saying how challenging is that when she's saying, I want to get away from you, I want to go to my dad. I love you. No matter what the hell, I've been with you this whole journey.
Yeah.
I love you. I'm saying that how hard is it from your perspective to get her to know that even when she's mad at you, you love her?
Damn near impossible. Because see, their dad died in 23.
Mhm.
So first of all, I was always the only one that advocated, which is why I finally found out. I was in the middle of them reporting me to CPS, and then I found out she had epilepsy, and I was like, hey, we're going for this test. I'm not locking her up and beating her in the cellar. And then when she found it, I was like, there's your medical record. She's not just mentally retarded. It stems from this that you people didn't want to. And second, now that the moment her dad died, I called the CPS investigators and I was like, I need you to get a hold of anybody that's a play therapist, a therapist, somebody, because it was spring break. They found him on a Friday as spring break was starting. So who does that? Who calls the CPS investigator to help their daughter? And then once she's that angry, which, I mean, we've all been that angry. But with her, you're dealing with, she has an IQ, I think, of in the 60s. Well, normal IQ, I believe, is in the 80s. Well, so if you're angry and I'm trying to reason with you and be like, look, I get it. I love you, but you can't act like this. You can somewhat reason with me. There's no reasoning with her. I mean, I physically had to get on her like a spider monkey from behind. And I'm like, I'm not budging until you stop. So it's very physical. And that's if I have the strength in me to get her.
Right.
Meanwhile, my child with Down syndrome, who's damn near perfect, is down the hall having to hear that. She sees cops and she goes, oh, are they here for Maggie?
Yeah.
That's 5 times I've had to call the police to come get her. And she wants to go. So it doesn't matter if it's positive attention or not attention. Thank God it's been the same police officers that have come time and time again. And they're like, we know this mom, she's doing all she can.
Yeah.
Or how about when she ran off? So we would take her so she wouldn't scream. She screams and bangs her head and bangs walls and throws things. So I would tote her outside on the porch. So it's like about the time I got here. So about 5:36, right? And it's dark. And it's not cold. We have a covered porch, no shoes or socks. And I'm like, we put you out there so that you will calm down. And when you're ready to calm down, you can come back inside and we'll talk. Because, when you're in that fight or flight mode versus the frontal lobe, which is your reasoning and thinking and all that. So take a breather, get it out of your system. Well, she's cussing and screaming on the porch. She runs off in St. Louis County, barefoot. And goes and runs off and knocks on some random stranger's door. Now, she doesn't have the capacity to understand what in God's name could happen to you.
Right.
And by the grace of God, she knocked on somebody's door who was a good parent and said, come in and let me call the police. So I'm sitting there. I think she's done. I open the door. She's gone. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding. So I just sit there and I say a prayer. And then about 30 minutes later, police call. Hey, do you know your daughter's missing? Well, he was new. And I go, yeah. She's about a street up. She knocked on the door. I mean, by the grace of God, that man didn't rape, kill, sex trafficker. You know, he could have done horrible things to that child by the grace of God. Luckily, the other police officers that joined, they were like, we know this little girl and we know this parent. So they have to come over. They have to do a well check, come in the house, all the things. That's just the mental health side. That's not including the fight that I'm having to deal with on the special school district side or the special education, where I have volumes and volumes and volumes of documentation and testing and this and that in Texas and here. She's had 3 stays. She's done an outpatient stay here, and they somewhat agreed, and then they turned right around and go, have you tried music therapy? Music therapy? Well, why didn't I think about putting on Spotify and some Miranda Lambert and some Lainey Wilson, maybe throw in a little Morgan Wallen, and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Music therapy? You're not listening to me. This child's on 4 medications and is still throwing hands on Christmas Day. Music therapy? But that's what they do. They bully you. They think you don't know your rights. They think you're not going to be, you're going to go, okay, which I did for the first couple of years. I was like, oh, well, you know best. You're doing what's best for my child. Well, I had good teachers that were doing what was best for my child. Now, you're taking a chance. Do I know you're doing good for my child?
Right.
Or are you doing good by the school district because you don't want to deal with it or write a report?
Right.
Or
Maybe they
cut a
think,
check.
maybe they thought Jingle Bells was going to fix it.
I guess that. Yeah. Ho, ho, ho. Read off.
Question.
Yes, sir.
Was Texas school district, special school district better than St. Louis?
No,
special
sir.
School?
It's worse.
So,
Dang.
If that's believable.
so
Yes, sir.
Texas school district is worse than
Texas is worse. So I will say there are a lot of things in St. Louis, or at least in St. Louis County, that I have seen that offer a whole lot more for people, not just children, but people with special education, special needs, programs. There's not a lot of that in Texas. And it's even worse where I never went anywhere without an advocate. And the final straw for us in Texas was Maggie was in a classroom with this horrible teacher who finally quit, got fired. I couldn't get the real story at Christmas time. And they were just riding it out, not hiring a teacher. Because, you know, special education teachers make more because of their schooling, and most of them have to have a master's. And then they're constantly going back to school. They're constantly doing all these things. So they make more. Well, then that's where they hire paras at a much cheaper rate, even though paras are doing a lot of the same work that those special need teachers are doing. And so they were just going to ride it out. So there's paras in charge of my child and 5 other kids in an open classroom. I'm like, something's going to happen. You've got, even though they're teenagers and they have a low IQ, doesn't mean they don't have hormones. Doesn't mean they don't know right from wrong. And even though you're in an open classroom, you also, by the state and by federal, if you don't have a special education teacher that is qualified, you owe me minutes. Well, do the math on that. First of all, if that teacher had called in 1,000 times from September to December, you owe me minutes, my child's education. Then they don't hire anybody from December to May. Well, think about the minutes there. Para's not qualified to teach my child, right, nor is she been educated on handling a child with autism or a Maggie Shea or a child with Down syndrome. You're not qualified. It's nothing against you. You're loving. You're great. Well, guess what happens? Little boy in that classroom, open classroom, he pins my daughter, who's very small, because I'm not big, and she comes from small people. He pins her up against the wall and he shoves his hand down her pants and up her shirt.
Oh shit!
Wow.
Yeah, that's the kind of shit that happens, that I said was going to happen. So what do? They shove my child, and they take both the children to the office. They put her in one room. They send that little boy back to class. They don't explain anything to Maggie. This is 2 months or 6 months after her dad had died. They don't explain anything to Maggie. She's smart enough to go, because I've always told my kids, you find a police officer. If I'm not there, you call a police officer, but you always call me, because I'm coming. She's smart enough to say, I want to talk to my mama, and you call the police officer on duty. They go, oh, well, we don't need to talk about that right now. 3 hours, my child sits in there. They put her on a bus to come home, and then they call me. Wow. They explain Not shit to her because she's low IQ and she's in special education.
She knew what happened. And,
Of course she knew what happened. You don't have to be Einstein or Elon to figure it out.
right.
So then by the time, I'm like, you get her off that bus this moment. By the time I get there, she's hysterical. So all the work that I'd done from the time her dad had died in therapy and play therapy, and I'm starting, I mean, that's traumatizing. You're almost 12, 13 years old when your dad dies,
Yeah.
no matter what he was or was not. So then all that work, she's in full flight mode. It wasn't my fault. It wasn't my fault. It wasn't my fault. And I'm like, Maggie, Mama's here. I know it's
Yeah.
not your fault. Collapses. Well, that's traumatized her. Pulled her out from that school, tried to see an attorney, tried to go to the news. I don't like talking about that in a small town.
Wow. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We got to protect the
Yeah,
politics.
so they had to do all they were basically covering their ass, calling superintendent, this, that, and the other. And that's a school that I grew up in. I cheered with those people. I grew up with them. Your parents and my parents taught together. That's supposed to be community and what it's about. Oh, no, we're busy covering our ass. So I pulled her. I told her, I said, you'll never have to go to that school again. So came here, St. Louis, which I will never be convinced that God didn't lead me there, because special school district is the only one like it in the country the way it's set up, which in theory is very good because they're their own entity and they hire out and they contract to all these schools, because good luck finding a special education teacher. Good luck hiring paras, because you don't have to have, to my knowledge, you don't have to have a lot of education, if any, to hire a para. Like,
Wow.
you and I can go walk in there.
So the para is just an assistant in the room?
Para is basically a paraprofessional is what it's short for.
Okay.
Para is there to assist the teacher, but they're a lot cheaper.
I see.
And they left that para when this...
By ourselves. With 5, 6 kids in
Wow.
there.
Not
Yeah.
even qualified then.
No, you're not qualified. That's why they hire them. Because if I'm paying, I don't know how much they make, especially in St. Louis, but let's just say, if you're making $80,000 as a special education teacher,
Right.
and really I need about 5 of you in that room, depending on how many kids, and you've got all different walks, I can have, and then I'll just hire some paraprofessionals, because they're only going to make, let's say, $12, $15 an hour. Now, the paras that I have, to this day, I love out of Texas, they loved my child. They do anything for them. They're special people that did it because that's who they are.
Mm-hmm.
But they ain't all like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you've gone anywhere that they're getting paid minimum wage, we know how their attitude is, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care where you are. If you're not happy, you need to go. Like, I don't care what you're doing. I don't care if you eat the Taco Bell. If you're not happy to ask me if I want fire sauce or not, then don't be there.
That's true.
Exactly.
That's very good.
Much less, I couldn't do that. There's no way I could be in that classroom all day. So I don't do it. I don't teach. And I come from a long line of teachers, but I'm not doing that. Know your strengths, know your weaknesses, know your lane.
Mhm.
But that's why. But you can hire anybody.
So what ended up, happening with that situation? That nothing ever came up? Nothing?
Nothing.
So they just let the kid, because he was low IQ as well, or what was his situation?
So he did have a low IQ. What they wanted to do, the school, they wanted to pin it on him. Well, I'm not in the business of ruining a child's life
Yeah.
because you have a low IQ. And I said, and he learned that somewhere.
Yeah.
No 12, 13-year-old, especially with a low IQ, you're not just hanging.
Monkey see,
That's not
monkey
in
do.
you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, kid came from.
Sure shit. He had a terrible home life and CPS. I was like, you need to call CPS. They didn't call CPS until 5, 6 o'clock. They didn't call the police officer until they called me.
They were trying to suppress the situation and
You
figure out
betcha.
how we can cover this up. so
Cover my ass.
Keep our rep really
That's
good.
exactly right. So the city tried to call me because, they have to file the police report. The police report's there. The child admitted what he did. And then I said, CPS needs to be called. CPS investigated. Well, sure enough, he had a terrible home life, went to live with the grandparents, if I'm not mistaken. And they were like, do you want to press charges? I'm not pressing charges against them. This is y'all's fault.
Yeah.
You're in charge of our children when we drop them off, not us.
Yeah, exactly.
This is on you. This is not, should he have done that? Absolutely not.
It wouldn't have happened if he was supervised.
Correct.
Just saying.
Right.
Correct. If you had the right people in there paying attention and not minimum wage,
Yeah.
just keeping them together and not killing each other. Open classroom. No nooks and crannies, no nothing. Open box classroom.
blanket statement for everybody is just like, oh yeah, they're all lacking something, so we'll just teach them all the same way, and that's
If they
where
teach
go
them at
wrong.
all.
They don't even teach them at all. They just keep them
If
in the
they teach them at
classroom.
all.
Yeah.
Because they're not all special education teachers are like our first one that treated and still holds my child like it's one of her own, who treated my children like, and I've had teachers that they're sitting across from me with tears coming out their eyes and they're like, you got to figure out what's wrong with her.
Yeah.
That's a true teacher. You're not, my daddy's been teaching 56 years. You're not there for the glory. And you sure as hell ain't there for the pay. You're there to make a difference in a child's life.
Right.
Which he's done time and time again. So I know what needs to be done. I've had special education teachers across from me that they're there because they truly want to help children.
Yeah. Do you think there's a lack of the drive for being in the special education field because lack of pay? Or, well, I know they
I'm
have a
sure it's
higher
lack of pay because teachers aren't paid enough. Teachers are not
that's-
paid enough. I mean, think about, they've got our children for 8 hours a day. You're shaping our future. You're shaping and loving our children when they're not there. I have a hard time loving my Maggie. And I begged God for those children with all those miscarriages. I begged. So I have a hard time loving her, much less a perfect stranger.
Yeah.
You need to be there for the right reason. So yes, there's, I think, pay and I think support.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Support.
Yeah.
Techniques, knowing how to handle the situation instead of throwing medication at them or throwing excuses at them. Like, oh, that's just how they are. No, I mean, we need to get down to the source and fix the
Well,
problem.
and being forthcoming. There's advocates everywhere. You can hardly find an education attorney or an advocate to help you because they're all booked up.
Wow.
Oh.
Man, I have a question.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry. I get to go and you got to just stop me. Rein me in. Rein me in. Sorry. I get fired up now. Okay.
So much to ask you. So what are the age groups in these classrooms?
They range. So like Maggie's at a middle school. So you've got 6th to 8th grade in that range. And then you've got kids that are behind. Like Maggie is 15. She technically should be in like 9th going into 10th grade. But because I held her back trying to help her, and then just because she's 15 doesn't mean that she physically doesn't look 15, but the hormones are 15. And then the IQ's not there. Like her IQ is mainly more on like a 7 or 8-year-old. But if you talk to Maggie, what she is on paper versus what she is in person could not be more different. So then there were teachers, every year that I get a new teacher, I have to tell them, I have to go, okay, listen, if you talk to her, she's got big vocab, all the things, but she doesn't match. So there's a range, let's say, like McCall will be in junior high next year. So she's just about to be 12 in March. So she'll be in there with 6th and 7th and 8th graders. And she's a little bitty little thing.
That's a disaster right
That's
there.
a disaster. No 6th grader should be anywhere with an 8th grader, even a 7th grader.
Yeah.
You know, like they ride on they have the little short buses. That's usually your special education. Well, McCall is tiny. McCall and Maggie. Maggie looks like she might be 10, 11 years old, maybe 12.
Oh, they small.
They're very small. I mean, and then you're putting her on there. I mean, you see some of these 7th and 8th graders, girls and boys. You seen some of them?
Yeah, even 6th graders.
Even 6th grade.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
What are your biggest issues with the school district, Maggie and Maggie?
Currently?
Yeah, big.
So I would say there's the school district and then there's the special education district.
Okay.
Okay. The districts that both of them are in, amazing.
Awesome.
My teachers, amazing. I'd go to bat for them. I could not have begged God for better teachers that love my children, that push my children, that hold them accountable and want to see them succeed. Back me up, help them any way they can. What I'm having a problem with is the entity of the special education. And A, they don't know their job. B, you're not being forthcoming about what my rights are. And C, you think that I don't know my rights. And again, like I've said, this isn't my first rodeo. Federal's federal. I don't care what state you go to. And if I ask you a question, this has always been my experience. If I ask you a question and you get your feathers ruffled, you're either A, hiding something, or you don't know your job. Because the people that know their job, they got no question. They got no problems with questions.
Right. Exactly.
Ask me a question all day long. And if I don't know, say I don't know. And then I'll figure it out. Or this is difficult. This is hard. At the end of the day, are we there to help the child? You know, you don't like me. I don't like you. Fine. Who cares? Are you there to help my child? Are you there to make her have somewhat of a decent life? Hell, 2 years ago, I said, I don't care if she ever reads and writes. In today's world with an iPhone, she ain't got to read and write. ChatGPT, she ain't got to read and write. Talk into it all day long, spit you out something. She doesn't have to. I'd like her to, but she doesn't have to function in this world. You're going to recommend music therapy when this child has been called? I've called the police. I've had to drag her ass out of school. They've got that on record, on video, because she decided she wasn't going on the bus that day. Cussing, screaming, called me everything but a woman.
Wow. So when you meet with these people in a special school district, what are the meetings like?
So they call them, let's see, they're red meetings here. They were R'd in Texas. I get that confused. So you have a generalized teacher that has Maggie. You have her special ed teacher. You have, in Maggie's case, she has a occupational and a speech therapist, which that sounds very like cookie cutter, but it's very broad there again.
Yeah.
You have people from that district, or, you know, they're in charge of this, they're in charge of placement, they're in charge of that. Usually the principal's there. Psychiatrists, in Maggie's, it's a big group. I mean, I usually have no less than 9 to 12 people in there, and it's me against them. And, you know, I hate to keep using that word advocate, but it's me going up against these people.
Yeah.
I mean, it always is. And if you don't know your rights, even with an advocate, I've walked into, not in here, but in Texas, I've walked into a meeting and they've got 15 people there and they show up with an attorney. And I'm like, do you think that's going to intimidate me? That's my child. I don't give a damn what you think of me.
Well, that's just
I don't care if we ever speak again. If you call me everything in the book behind my back, I only got one Maggie Shea, and she's literally only got me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Oh, yeah.
And they walk in there, and they don't like to be questioned. Are you seriously recommending, after this child threw her hands and is currently in a behavioral clinic for the 3rd time, cussed me, called me everything, banging, throwing, and my other child, who's also in that special education, is having to witness all that, scared to death? You're telling me music therapy? Even her psychiatrist is like, she way out of the realm of music therapy at this point in the game. I'm like, no shit.
Yeah. What in the world?
I got a question
Yes,
for
sir.
you. So I used to work, I think it's what you call a para. I used to work in an adult day program, and I used to have a room with, had about 10 individuals with intellectual disabilities.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is, after she ages out of high school, what is the next step?
That's
like,
what I was going
That's a great question.
what's the next
First
step?
off, because she has special education and the lower IQ and all the things, I think they can go to 21, if I'm not mistaken. So they can go longer. But then, that's a great question. What's next? Oh, well, you can apply to put them in a state home. You can apply, do they need assisted living? It's kind of like dealing with an elderly.
I used to work in the Silla home too.
It's very similar.
Before I was in corrections, my background was working with people with intellectual disabilities.
Okay.
I worked in Silla homes, and I also worked in adult day programs.
Yes.
So.
And good luck getting in them. They're out there.
Yes, they are.
But they're filled to the brink, or they have a waiting list a mile long.
Well, I know some local agencies that's around here and kind of throughout the community. So, I mean, I know some people. If you ever need that, I know directors, I know people who I can reach out to actually help advocate with that.
Well, and that drives my same point home, though. Do you see that? I have to meet someone, and he has to give me this information, friend of a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend. And I'll take anything. You ask anybody. I've done everything but burn a live chicken out front for her in an exorcism. Mm-hmm. Okay? There ain't nothing that you could go, hey, have you tried this? That I'm going to go, ugh. Now, except for stupid music therapy at this point. That should have been done about 8 years ago. Okay. Like somebody's throwing hands. I don't want your music therapy. Yeah. But that's exactly what I'm talking about. I have to meet a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend or another parent that goes, hey, have you tried this? This is what we did.
And she is
Do you think anybody's coming forth with a laundry list going, start here and work your way down?
I actually know the laundry list because I've worked
Only because you've worked in
I've
it.
worked in that field in multiple companies.
Yes.
Cerebral palsy, epilepsy found. I mean, these companies, it's a lot of little companies that just scattered around here that a lot of people really don't know about, you know. And
there it is.
And I know, I do know.
I know people. Okay, well, I need your people.
I do know people.
I need your people.
But see, in a short period of time, just with us doing this, it seems like we found several holes in the system, if you will.
Yeah.
You just mentioned cerebral palsy, which I wasn't even thinking about.
Right.
But so sounds like one of the mistakes that they made.
Current time. I mean, it's a lot of.
They just lump it all together.
That's what I'm saying. You can't put epilepsy and autism and cerebral palsy. You can't put them all together. So it sounds like the fixing needs to start at the lowest level, and there clearly is a problem with how you all diagnose, not you.
Oh, absolutely. No, I know what you mean.
If they're throwing people in and saying, they didn't pass this in a short period of time, here's your issue, bias. They had from all the way down.
Yeah.
The problem started diagnosing. Clearly, there's a medical issue with, and that's not just special needs. That's
it's across the board.
How they
the special needs is
experiment and go, well, let's see how this works out to that works out and so on and so forth. And it seems like the issues just grow and grow and grow. I can't even imagine, like you said, you're a godsend because you know the way to work the system.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine how big the number is of people who don't know which direction to even start.
And he knows the system. And the system that it sucks.
Yeah,
am I lying?
It does suck. And like you said, that waiting list for people to get into these homes, they are long. Like it could be months. Like they are so backed up.
Months. My children have been on the disability list since the day they were born, and they'll be lucky to do anything with it at 18.
Wow.
Oh, they can't qualify for disability. Want to know why? Because I used to make too much money.
Right. Yeah.
I'm sorry. She's born with the damn extra chromosome.
That's gross.
That ain't changing at 18. When their father died, I get Social Security. I can only get, which is huge help. Okay. But then I can't make over that or they'll take it away. Okay. These children I have by myself in today's horrible environment, and they'll take it away if I make over 20. It was 25 in Texas. Now it's 29 in St. Louis.
Wow.
So the whole system is rigged and screwed.
Oh, yeah. You were spot on earlier about the educators not being paid enough.
Absolutely.
It's a lot of them on social media, and I hate to say this, but there have been several female teachers talking about doing OnlyFans and all this stuff.
I've seen that. Yeah, I've actually.
A lot of them do.
But yet the superintendents get paid $225,000 a year to not even work their job and go to another school district.
Wow.
It doesn't make it make sense. Once they get out of that classroom and they start jumping and, I got my education and now I'm a sup or I'm a principal, they forget I would say the peasants, we're the peasants. They forget the peasants and what it was like having to have a room full of 6 or 7 different disabilities. And, we've got paperwork. Well, we have to try this first. Well, we got to do this. It's forever. Forever.
It sounds...
Question.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I was just about to ask you, what is an IEP?
IEP is I'm not going to remember what it stands for.
Individual
Education Plan. Okay. So there's 504, which means maybe you have like dyslexia, or you're just a little slow or something like that. And so we need to intervene or pull you out of a class. We've done all that. Then you have IEP, which means that you got mega issues or you got pretty good issues. So the individual education plan, is that right? Individual education plan. That is an entire committee, which includes me as her mama, psychiatrists, all the people that are in those red meetings, okay? And as a committee, since we're there to do what's best for our child, to get her to be a functioning adult, we're used to be, let's learn and whatever, but then it gets to a point where, I mean, we're about to go into high school. We're just trying to make you function
Right.
and to live somewhat of a normal life.
Mm-hmm.
So we're doing everything we can. We've got, like, my little McCall, she comes home, I go, what'd you do today? Oh, I worked hard, and we did self-care, which, you know, self-care, that sounds minor to you and me, of washing and brushing and doing all the things, but they're having to learn that and hope to God they can execute it on their own. She can. The other one would have yellow corn teeth from here to the end of time because she don't want to bathe or brush her damn teeth. So now it's just, can we get you to be a functioning adult? Well, everything that's in that IEP is gospel, and it has to be followed to a T. Do you think that's happening?
Absolutely not.
No.
Wow.
In anything else that's federal, do you think that's happening?
No. There's not even a shed of light on it. They don't care.
Exactly. Did you even know? Have you ever heard the IEP before I got
Nope,
here?
never.
I've heard of it.
Yeah,
You've heard of it.
I had.
Okay.
I've been
You
in.
have.
I've been in.
You've
IEP.
been in an IEP.
I've been in IEP.
Yeah, and I've had social workers that have been in there with me and Maggie who have, you know, at some of the different hospitals. They're phenomenal, but they're there to help.
Mhm.
They're sure not getting paid for it. So the IEP has to be followed to a T. If I don't agree with something in that meeting, if we don't collectively agree, like, it's not a voting thing. It's, we need to agree what is best for this child. I can hold that up all day.
Mm-hmm.
Like her goals, this a long time ago, goals, they wanted her to count from 1 to 100. I'm like, she barely make it through 1 to 25. Why would you put it to 100? You're setting her up for failure.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a pushy mom. So it's not like I'm coddling anybody, but why would you set up a child that is already so behind? Why would you set her up for failure? IEPs are supposed to be followed to a T. The only person that's holding them accountable, you hope, is the superintendent, the principal, and the teachers. And that poor teacher is in charge of every child that's in that classroom. Each has a 20-page IEP of how they have to have an escort to the bathroom.
Wow.
Or they have to have this schedule for their occupational therapist and 2 days a week and 50 minutes of this. And it's to a T. So the only people you hope are the principal and the staff and all those people keeping up with it. And then the only other person that keeps up with it, you're looking at her.
Wow.
And I'm not independently wealthy. I have to work. I'm taking care of another one. I have 2 reds since I have 2 kids with special education.
Mhm.
You have 2 a year, 1 or 2 a year, I think. But then with Maggie, hell, I've had to call 4 or 5 just this year.
Man, have you heard of any success stories with the special school district?
To this moment, no, sir. I personally have not.
Never.
Now, when I got here in comparison to Texas, if that tells you how bad it was a godsend for me. I'm like, how smart is that you've got your own entity? So in theory, it's fantastic. But again, it depends on who you're hiring, who's in charge, and who's doing their job and who's not, and who's there to do the right thing. So honestly, I have not. Now, they talk a good game, and I get their little newsletter, and they are the ones that set me up with these phenomenal teachers. And they're $30 million, I think, below their budget and all that. I'm like, well, where's that money go? You going to give it to a bonus? Somebody getting a kickback? Because you sure shit are not real happy about me pushing for KVC in a private school, a private therapeutic school, which by law, federal and state, if you cannot provide my child with the service they need, the education and all their needs, which Maggie has a lot, you have to pay for where it does help her. That's when they recommend music therapy, because they act like I'm asking you to whip out your paycheck and your checkbook and write the check. That's government funded. The funds are there.
Right.
Yeah. They're just
They're stalling.
bringing some money. Yeah.
So that meeting happened, and then I've been blocked. I've been talked down to. I asked under the Federal Free Information Act, which is also called the Sunshine Act in the state of Missouri. I want to see, because we had that meeting on 11/25, We were supposed to have another meeting on 12/18. Then they started changing it. Oh, we don't have time for that. Well, we don't have time for that. Well, our schedules don't allow it. We're going to push it to January. No, we're not. This child is in need right now.
Exactly.
So then I just got ignored, emails sent. I asked I said, well, let me see your schedules. Let me see your Outlook schedules.
Yeah.
Well, they want to charge me $250.
Charge you.
Take a picture. It's a Freedom of Information Act.
Email me to share. What are you
So then now I'm dealing with two different individuals. One who's the gatekeeper of records, and he was like, simply put, you have to pay $250. I'm like, simply put, it's the Freedom of Information Act. And if it's that much trouble, just click it with your iPhone and send me a picture. I want to see that the teachers are so busy from here to January 22nd that you changed my meeting.
Mm-hmm.
That don't sound free.
Do they have any bosses?
That's a great question. I've never seen them because they no-showed my meetings. I had 3 meetings, emergency meetings called, and the first 2, they no-showed. The third one, they sent somebody who doesn't know her job.
So
And agreed to getting Maggie Shea the help, and then turned around 30 minutes later and called me and go, well, this is my first time on the job. And, well, I'm not sure we can all be there. I don't need you all there. Do what I need to do, what is best for my child. And this ain't new. This ain't yesterday. This is not just getting started. This is years.
Wow. It sounds like they need to make programs specifically for certain syndromes in order to be treated. That way they could do it. Yeah, like, we're not going to have...
And that comes down to cost, yes. And I've said that for years. Why do you have a child with autism who's walking around, who's 160 pounds and still has a diaper on and is incapable of learning? How terrible. But is incapable of learning, and you got them in there with Maggie. So then Maggie likes to be large and in charge, like her mama, and loves to help. And so now I'm like, that is so kind of you, but it's not your job, honey.
Yeah.
You're not the para. You need to be learning yourself. Well, how are you supposed to teach that one when he's trying to take his diaper off and write with shit on the wall, and then you've got my child?
Right. There's two different situations.
Totally 2 different spectrums. So I've said for years, you need to have the ones that are possibly at least make 2 classrooms where this group can possibly learn. And this group, there again, it comes to funding. They could ship that child out to another facility that is more like an adult daycare for children like that, but they don't want to write the check. Even though the funds are there, they don't want to write the check.
We got to get to the bottom of this shit.
Wow.
Oh, it's awful. It's crooked as can be.
Like with the living situation, like when they transition out of the home, they have homes with different levels of care.
Mm-hmm.
So
How do you think somebody would take that hint?
They have homes with different levels of care. Now I've worked in all of the homes with the different levels of care. Some homes need just 1 staff. Some homes need 2 staff. Some homes need 3 staff.
Okay.
So it's the ratio to, the individual in the home.
Kind of like the elderly. Some are assisted living. Some are totally independent. They just have they're right there on staff if they need a nurse or something. There's different levels.
So,
now they got them all in one classroom.
But so the solution is there. It's the money that's not.
The money's there.
But
it's not being
implemented.
Not properly.
Because
money's being sucked up into other things.
Yeah.
Because it is a fix.
Smaller daycare,
Ask a question that links to the money.
Yes, sir.
Big picture is, I feel like I already know the answer here, but for parents across the board, do they have a survey that you all have to respond to?
Oh, sure. But it is so generalized and it is an automatic, little tag on it, and it is so specifically yes or no.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So they don't get into suggestions.
No, and if they do, that's going in the trash. That's going in the junk box. Swap and delete.
Because
Swap and delete.
Surveys affect them. Everybody's in the surveys now. Surveys affect the money. That's
sure they do.
Okay.
But you actually have to take that survey and do something with it.
Yeah.
Surveys are good to also know who's the thorn in their ass for them to remove.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That I was about to say, that's what those surveys are for. To see who's pissed off and who's the problem.
Right.
Ms. Hestwood is a problem.
Have a group of y'all as parents actually form some type of alliance?
No, because we're all individual in this.
Just all fight.
It's me, just like I'm in here with y'all. It's basically me with all these people, and I'm fighting for Maggie.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And then I'm going into another group in another meeting fighting for McCall. And it's me. Now, If I have the money, I can hire an advocate that I used to have in Texas, $150 an hour. Or I can hire an
Dang.
attorney, which is going to do the same thing.
Yes.
Retainer fee for an attorney, I mean, $5,000, $2,500, and then paying you hourly. Do the math.
Yeah.
Mm.
My advocate, after I got, they showed up with attorney. I'm like, I'll show up nowhere without my attorney, without my advocate. She goes, I don't think I've ever been to a parent-teacher conference. You will now.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, it makes people behave.
Yeah.
You show up with an advocate that's all they do. And they're special ed advocates left and right. Good luck. I've called 3 special education advocates and attorneys. I can't get a call back. One of them's on the national, free, I can't remember what it's called, but it's a website and it goes for the entire United States. You put by state and what you need and what your problem is. Ask me if I've ever gotten a call back. They're
Never.
that backed up.
Wow.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
Oh my God.
Oh, we could talk for days. We could talk for days on this bullshit. And we ain't even scratched the surface on mental health.
Yeah.
That's just special education. That's just Maggie. And that's with teachers that actually give a damn. And that, I mean, tears streaming down their face.
Does she have a therapist right now?
So I had a therapist when we first got here, $175 an hour,
Wow.
twice a week. I finally told him, I was like, listen, I'm not seeing any difference. And it's not your fault. I'm smart enough and I have enough perspective to go, it's not your fault. It's her. She likes to just go in there and chat.
Mm.
Hey, I brought my library books. Oh, the library books that you weren't supposed to take out of class that you smuggled in your pants and in your backpack? That one? Yeah, that was you. He is
Dang.
so lovely and wants to help Maggie Shea so much. We quit going to him as a therapist. I still include him in my emails. He calls on a checkup for free to talk to me and
That's a
help
good
me.
person.
Those are the people that are in it for the right reason.
Yeah.
Mm.
We need more of that.
So then because they're, I can get a free therapist. There are people that do this, right?
Mhm.
In the system.
Mm-hmm.
So between all the things I have to do, you can't just, after the third behavioral, hey, she needs a therapist, clearly. No. I have to go all the way downtown. I have to sit there because you can't make an appointment. You have to sit there with the mean 15-year-old who's, and doesn't sit well, and wait for an appointment for them to do an intake, for them to tell me everything I already know about my child. And, oh, yeah. From what you're telling us, she probably needs a therapist. No shit.
Right.
I could have told you that over the phone and saved me a trip. So there's a whole day. Can't go to work. Can't take her to school because she's got to be there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've done outpatient where it's half a day. I have to stop what I'm doing, leave work, take her over there. It's only 4 hours. Go pick her up, bring her back, then, back to school and then back to work. That was just for the 6 weeks.
Wow.
So there's lots of free stuff out there if you can ever get to it. And that's if you can get to it.
So do you have a therapist for yourself?
I used to in Texas.
The reason I ask because, man, that just seemed like you got the weight of the world on your shoulders right
Yeah.
now.
I do. There are a lot of times, especially at Christmas, because that was one of my busiest times of year. So I'm in there dealing with customers, which I love my job. And I try to put my bullshit at the door. Everybody's got baggage. So I'll leave my baggage at the door. And that's not your problem when you're looking for a lipstick. Okay. Or you need a present for your wife. That's not your problem. So I put on my happy face and I do what I did. And meanwhile, while I'm doing my job to the best of my ability with the public.
I don't have no wife,
Well, a girlfriend. Whatever. A girlfriend.
I ain't
Or
got that.
friend.
Got that either.
So then I'm dealing with emails, fighting all those people that don't want to cooperate. No, we're having it on the 14th. No, this is the day we're having it. And I'm holding my line. Then I'm dealing with the psychiatric hospital calling me. Then I'm dealing with therapists calling me from there and the social worker. Hey, have you tried this? Well, you'd have to go down there. So I'm dealing with all these different people, and the insurance people call me, who are lovely too. Hey, what can we do to help? So I put into this KVC, which I don't know if y'all have ever heard of that.
No.
So there's one in Webster Groves, and then there's another. They're all over the country, I think. And I know there's a bunch in Missouri. Well, the one, and you'll look up the KVC one in Webster Groves. So It's going, it used to be under something else. I think it was Edgewood or something else before it took over. Well, they are in the process of this huge remodel for mental health. Low IQ, it's a therapeutic setting. So they have not only the educational academy that deals with children like Maggie, but also deals with depression, anxiety, trauma, anger, low IQ, all the things. And then they're in the midst of building a behavioral unit next to it. So if she loses her mind again, she goes right next door and she doesn't miss the education. Because every time that Maggie's gone to the behavioral, she's missed 2 weeks of school.
Wow.
And do you think that they're making it up or helping me?
Not at all.
No. Now, instead, I get a letter saying that she's missed under the amount of time that she's allowed to miss. No shit.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get her into this therapeutic setting where she has therapy every day. She has medical doctors because not only does she have this low IQ on the education side, not only does she have the mental health side, but then she has epilepsy. One of the medications she was on caused seizures. She had her first grand mal seizure, thank God, at the behavioral clinic.
Oh my God.
Wow.
On the hospital grounds. So they just marched her right on over there.
And what does seizures do to her? Does they affect the brain?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So with Maggie's, whether it's absence or whether what they refer to as generalized seizures. So it means it's happening on both sides of the hemispheres of her brain. And it's kind of like a glitch. That's the way I was explained to it by her neuro. It's like a glitch in the system. And like when your phone freezes up or it's freezing and it's stopping and it restarts every time. Now, hers is under control with medicine, but how long has it been going on? They don't know.
Yeah.
She could have been born that way. They said it could have been promoted by puberty. When she started going through puberty, it could have promoted that. Then it could get worse and go into grand mal seizures, or it could go away, or she could grow out of it. They don't know.
Yeah.
So think about all the times that she maybe was glitching all the times before. They also found what they call a unidentified or unintentional find. They found a mass in the back right part of her brain. Oh, it's fine for now, but they have to keep an eye on it. We had an MRI and EKG back in October, I think. And it's something we have to constantly check on.
Yeah.
So God knows what that's done to her. And then all the medications, that one medication, which I had read an article and I was like, hey, maybe we can try this. They're having some success with lithium in children with low IQ and epilepsy. Maybe we can try this. And anger and trauma and all that. Golden for like 4 months. Golden. Like 180. You would have thought it was a totally different child. Well, then started anger again. I guess she like X-Men and absorbed it up and she's fine and decided to go right back to where she was. Then she went back to the behavioral clinic. And that's where she had her first grand mal seizure. Thank God, 45 seconds long. Well, you don't know the damage it does.
Whoa. Yeah.
Which 45 seconds doesn't sound long, but 45 seconds of your brain freezing?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And luckily, she was on hospital ground.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So God knows the damage that it's done to her. And the medication. And the trauma. And the I mean, she's got the laundry list. I don't know many ordinary teachers or ordinary special education teacher, even the best, or think about every principal and teacher that we had, or even in your profession and things you've done that can handle that list.
Yeah, that's a big task.
Uh-huh.
A huge task.
Yeah. So instead of finding the source of where she needs to go, no, have you tried music therapy? I'm like, somebody go see me on the news. So yeah, I'm dealing with all that. So yes, long story short, I talk too much, but it has been a toll. It has been a toll. And where I literally, it was a couple days before Christmas and I'm on my way to the day that I was working at, because I go to different locations. And as I'm going, they're calling me going, so we don't really have any reason to keep her because she's acting nice. So you're going to have to come get her when you're done with work.
Wow.
And that guy's fantastic. The psychiatrist there, gift from God. He read her in 15 minutes. He's like, for somebody with low IQ, she sure is manipulative. I'm like, yeah, where you been?
Yeah.
Where you been? Can you come out of practice? Yeah.
You have a special talent.
And then I sit there in my car. I'm like, okay, well, I'll be there when I get off work. And so I'm sitting there and I'm just like, okay, deep breath. And meanwhile, I'm trying to deal with KVC. Well, KVC only deals in email. They can't take what I'm saying. That needs to be referred to by a doctor. So he was nice enough to refer. Well, I didn't hear from him until this week.
Wow.
And do you have this? Do you have that? Do you have that? No. I get it. I can sign a release. Well, we really like you to send it. So imagine that. Now I have to. Have you ever called the hospital records? The record keepers at a hospital?
No, I've never called them.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a challenge. Good
Yeah.
luck. Good luck. You'll be on the phone for hours.
Well, if they'll talk to you, can you please submit an email requesting that you want this?
Oh yeah, they play.
Can you please? That's what they're all doing, and I get it due to HIPAA, but you shouldn't make it that difficult for me to get my own kids' records.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, everything is a battle. Everything. It's like, yes, it's a toll. It is quite the toll.
With the therapist, you say he caught it spot on about the manipulation.
The psychiatrist.
The psychiatrist. You said he caught it spot on. When I used to work in corrections in the jail, that's how I was when I could see people that had like intellectual disability, and I would have to go to my supervisor and say, "Hey, I don't think we should put him in general population. I have this feeling that he has an intellectual disability, and I can spot it dead on just by talking to him, just by kind of looking at the way a person
Something's
moves.
off.
So yeah, something's just not right. Now, if you haven't worked in it around individuals like that for a long time,
you're not going to see
you wouldn't see it. You would just pass it right up.
Yeah.
But me, I was like, hold on for a minute. Before we put him in general population with the murderers, let's put him somewhere where he can be by himself, because
for safety.
Because if they came in there on on a violent charge, they probably had an outburst. They didn't know what they was doing, and it's hard to make people understand that a lot of things that they do, they can't help it. It's an outburst. They don't in jail. An outburst is that's bad. If you're just having an outburst in a cell somewhere.
And in Maggie's, it's kind of premeditated because half of hers is an outburst. And you go, like her therapist told me, that you're in the back part of your brain is the fight or flight. And he goes, that's where Maggie lives. Okay. From all her issues. That's where she lives. He goes, and you live at the front where all the reasoning and all your perspective and all that is. He goes, y'all could not be more opposite. He goes, we got to bring Maggie to the front. Well, try to bring somebody to the front whenever they're angry or they need attention. And she doesn't care what kind of attention. Which we've all heard that before if we have kids. She doesn't care what kind of attention, positive, negative, and she knows what she's doing. When she's not getting her way, she starts banging on the floor, banging her head. You're going to hurt yourself. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. So half of it is she does not care as long as I reach my goal. And you know what I'm talking about. She does not care because it's worth getting to what she wants. Well, you're not fully mentally retarded or that low IQ to pull that.
Right. Manipulation.
That's manipulation. Yeah. Now, you hate to say that. A, about my own child, and B, about somebody who has an intellectual disability. Right. But like my daddy said, he said, all children, all people are manipulative to get what they want. It doesn't make them bad people. It makes them kids. It doesn't make them bad kids. It doesn't make them bad people. He said, if a baby cries and they figure out you come in there, they've just manipulated you the next and second and third time. He goes, that doesn't make them mean or bad. He goes, they cry and they want you in there, then I'm going to cry and you come in. It's the same thing with Maggie. Well, if it was just us, go ahead and bang. Go ahead and bang your head and whatever. But then she starts throwing things. Then she starts hitting and kicking and biting and scratching, or then she's scaring McCall.
Yeah.
When she's doing that, is she doing it? Is she just doing it to get attention, or is it something specific that she wants? Like
now, I don't know. Now you cannot tell. So half of it is. Like she was walking through Christmas and I'd asked her to quit going in McCall's room or doing something. And she was like, okay. And then would literally 5 seconds do it again.
Wow.
And then do it again and do it again. It had been an all day thing. What do they call it? Confrontational. They don't like confrontation. They don't want to, what do they call that?
I know what you mean, though.
You know what I'm talking about? Defiant. Defiant syndrome or whatever. So basically, if I, as her parent, tell her something to do, no. Well, that doesn't make her super different from any other kid, except that she goes the distance with it. And then the low IQ, she can't rein it in. Once she's there, we can't rein it in.
Yeah.
Man, we gonna try to get you some. I want to help.
I know you do, and
Yeah, you right.
I should have said this from the beginning. My Texas manners are just waiting. I got so excited. Thank you for having me on. Yes, sir.
It's totally left field.
No,
Odie, forgive me.
Oh, here we go.
So, Texas driving versus St. Louis driving.
Oh, man.
I don't even let it bother me. No.
Okay, now y'all gonna get me enemies here. Okay,
Oh,
now listen. There are a lot of things about this state I like. Well, and I'm in Illinois, but and I do like Illinois. I had no idea that it was such an agricultural state.
you like Illinois?
Well, I mean, I'm not living here.
I'm from Illinois too. So.
Well, when I think, and I'm sure I'm not the only one, when I think Illinois, I think Chicago.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
I did. And so then the farthest I've been is Fairview. And now this, by the way, this town's precious. If I'm allowed, I don't know where, you know where it's at. Oh, it's adorable. It looks very picturesque and very storybook. And then I drove to Marion. Marion. And I was like, look at all that farmland and silos. I was like, I see a cow. I don't think I'm in Texas. But I will say, being the fact that I was ran in off the road and into the wall on 170 3 days, a week before Christmas.
That's normal.
Yeah.
Okay, when I first got here, I was like, is there a wreck up ahead? What was happening? Why is everybody going so slow? In Texas, the suggested speed limit is 75, 85, which means everybody's going, and it's suggested. Everybody's going 85 to 90. You get on 635, 30, anything in Dallas-Fort Worth, if you're not going 90 plus, you're going to get flipped off or run off.
Yeah.
And you stay the hell out of those first 3 lanes, because that's for felonies. That's for the ones that we're ready. We're going. Here, I'm like, I'm going to get a ticket because the drivers here are mental.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry, they're mental. I've never in my life, when you exit, I'm taking an exit and they slow down. I'm like, get out of the way. Speed up, move. You're not supposed to slow down. Or they're all, and it might be, and nothing against this, but I think there's a lot of weed smoking here. Because weed's legal here. It's not legal in Texas. So I'm like, well, maybe there's a lot of people that are on weed when they're driving.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously.
I'm definitely,
okay.
yeah.
Well, I thought about it. And I'm like, and then there's a lot of Texers. And then y'all just passed that law where you have to do hands-free.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
In Texas, that law's been passed for a long time. You can't go, no, you better have it on hands-free. The other thing is, like we talked about at the beginning, people in Texas take the law in their own hands. You want to start something like that in the country? Go right ahead. We have the castle law.
Yep, exactly.
We don't mess around. And cops, I know it's not like that everywhere, and I'm going to say the majority of Texas, but the majority of Texas, we back the blue. And that we got cops everywhere.
Yeah.
DPS, cops, Smith County, all the things. You got them everywhere, and they're just begging for you to speed or do something. They're everywhere. I hadn't even seen but like 2 cops. And the other ones is because I called the cops to my damn house. I'm like, shut up. Y'all actually are here. Okay, cool.
Oh, yeah. St. Louis.
The driving here is terrible. I'm sorry.
So
I'm sorry.
There's a little trick.
Even though you said that, you didn't give him the version he was hoping for.
Oh, well,
and so I'm okay with that.
Okay.
To our audience, we're gonna do an episode about shitty ass St. Louis driving, so Stice can get everything out of his system.
Bring me back.
After that, we're not going to drink.
Bring me back.
I do got one thing to say about that.
Stice,
like that.
So
I'm from St. Louis, so I know they drive fucked up. The difference is, I adapted. It's like I'm okay. Like, damn, I get it. I understand. Stop signs don't mean shit. It's like, huh?
Traffic lights don't mean nothing.
No, they don't.
After a certain time at night, you don't stop at red lights. I don't stop at red lights.
They don't.
Traffic lights mean a little, but we'll say that
at night they mean nothing.
Yeah.
Red light in St. Louis, fuck it, I'm going. Like I'm going. I'm not standing. I'm not staying there, especially after gunshots. Up, time to go.
Red is an extended version of
What, the
green.
gunshots?
There it is. There it is.
Oh.
We're gonna address that on another episode.
Another episode, I'm coming back for that.
I want to get you back. We want to.
Yeah.
We did. We've done a full episode. I do want to get you back to do mental health because
Yes,
again,
that'd be great.
Yes.
both of you.
I'm sorry, I didn't let you talk.
No.
You fine. You fine.
He's a
I
regular.
definitely want to get into mental health. Both of them.
So there's like one little trick to St. Louis driving.
What's that?
If somebody's going slow, just get in front of them and get next to them and turn your blinker on. They'll speed past you.
Is that it?
Yeah, because you don't use blinkers in St. Louis. But if you want somebody to pass you up real quick, just turn on your blinker. Then they will be like, oh, shit, I got to get past this guy.
That's the other thing that just blows
Psychological.
my mind. I like the way you've got it set up, and you have a lot more lanes.
Yeah.
But see, she said we drive slow.
You do drive
Compared
slow.
to where she to compare.
Yeah.
That's why I said you wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
No,
You
in
wasn't
fact,
expecting
I
that.
went back. I took the girls to a special needs camp back in Texas because we've gone there like 4 or 5 years. It's called Beloved and Beyond, by the way. Y'all should look it up. It's phenomenal. It's for all special needs. Christian funded, all the thing. When I went back through Texas coming from here, I was like, ooh, I got to speed up. And people were like, get out of the way. And I'm like, give me a minute. Okay, I've been in the slow St. Louis.
Yeah.
They do. I mean, I'm serious. If you ever drive through Texas, they will They will run you over.
I'm a
Yeah.
cruiser though, so
Heck yeah, like
I can
85.
adapt.
Put it on cruise control. It's awesome.
driving.
You're a defensive driver.
Yes.
I'm going to go with that. I'm a defensive driver too. Mhm.
Accepted it.
Well-
on the East Coast.
You got,
I ain't been
got
that
your
far.
certification in the East Coast, huh?
Yeah, I don't want
No,
to.
no, no. We don't want to go to the East Coast. Okay.
They drive. They different.
Chicago traffic is horrible. Chicago got the worst. I hate driving
Like New
in
York.
Chicago.
I haven't been to Chicago yet. I'm ashamed to
You just
say.
got to be the bully. You just got to
Chicago was on the list.
take it over.
They were definitely on the list.
Driving in
Oh,
Chicago is way worse than driving in St. Louis. Like, I've seen people just hit people cars and just drive the fuck off. Like, fuck it.
This
like-
lady almost ran me off the road, and I flagged her down 3 lanes over into the shoulder on 170. Well, then you couldn't get out of the car.
Well, I
She
see
took off
that-
to Brentwood
I see
Promenade.
that in St. Louis, but again, I understand it. I'm
Just
blown.
because you don't agree with it,
No,
I
I'm
understand it.
blown because Stice is damn near 15 years younger than me, and he act like he don't get it. Like, dude, time change is fucked up. It is what it is, but I get it.
So
I get it.
I got to
Act like
defend
you don't get it. I'm going, man, you are not fucking 80 years old. What is hard to understand about this?
I got to defend St. Louis a little bit on the driving, though. You know why St. Louis drives slow?
No.
Because we got so many freaking potholes.
Yeah, that part.
We'll say on that road up
They
here.
will tear your rims
I'm
up.
like, oh my
Well,
God.
but Stice's issue is about the reckless driving.
Yeah.
You have never heard me say, I disagree. The difference is I understand. I just understand.
Well, it's like mental breakdowns. Like, I don't agree with it, but I understand it.
Yeah.
You know, like Brittany 07. Like, we don't agree with it, but we get it. I get it, especially.
Basically in St. Louis, because my mother taught me when I was young, she said you can tell when it's Friday because everybody drives different on Friday.
Why's that?
Why?
Because they're getting the hell out? Or what?
I guess it's something you can, I don't know, maybe other states aren't like this, but you can definitely tell. Well, prior to now, recent, you could tell when it was Friday because St. Louis just drive different shit on Friday. However, in the 2020s, treat every day except Sunday like it's Friday. And you good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we got to wrap it up.
I'm so sorry. I talked to
No,
you.
no, no,
I
this is
talked a lot,
wonderful.
but I appreciate y'all.
That's the
letting
whole
me
core
get-
of what we do is to bring people on and get that insight. And I really think we'll definitely have you back on.
Oh, please.
and,
Thank you for having me.
We should formulate a plan on a way we can change the situation for you and make the light on this situation be very, very bright because that's the problem.
Yes.
Out of sight, out of mind.
I
So
tried to
we
get a
need to
hold of
change
Josh
that.
Hawley.
So
And Eric Schmidt, because Eric Schmidt, he has a child with special
Yeah.
needs.
Call him out.
yeah,
I
call 'em
have.
out.
Yeah.
In fact, I have notified, just for the record, I went to their website and requested a meeting, and I've yet to hear anything. That was 2 weeks before Christmas. And I tag them every time. I'm sure people think I have lost my mind, and I'm not. I have not officially lost my mind, but I'm just this mama bear activated,
Yeah.
So I've tried to get a hold of Josh Hawley, because he's done some great work with the people of St. Louis and all that, the chemical waste that was
Yep.
dumped.
Yep.
And Eric Schmidt, like I said, he's a little angry bear too, and then he's got a child with special needs. So, and then Donald Trump, Elon, I'll take whoever. Yes,
Right.
let's get it out there.
We'll make it happen. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? We're just
Yeah, I
getting bigger
appreciate
every year. We're just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger until we're on top. So
Yes, sir.
we got your back, Leslie.
Thank you.
for
I got
coming
y'all.
on.
Thank
We
you so
appreciate it.
much. Yes, I appreciate it.
Until next time, grind it up. We'll see you guys at the next episode.
Grind it
Bye-bye.
up. Grind it up.
Run it up, we're chasing all the lights all day, every night. Hustle till we get it right.